Welcome to Golden Bachelor. If you love celebrity news and real entertainment updates, you're in the right place. When a love story unfolds in front of millions, it always feels a little larger than life. It becomes bigger than two people. It becomes a symbol of hope, second chances, and the belief that love doesn't follow a timeline. And for so many viewers, Joan Vassos and Chalk Chapel were that symbol. Their connection didn't begin in some quiet corner cafe or during a chance meeting in an airport. No, these two met under the bright lights of a reality TV stage, surrounded by cameras, emotions, and a whirlwind of competition. And yet, something about them felt simple, warm, comforting, almost like watching two people who had known each other for years finally find each other again. After the season ended and Chalk dropped to one knee with a dazzling ring, fans thought the fairy tale was fully locked in. But real life has a way of adding twists to even the sweetest romances. And now, a single holiday post from Joan Vassos has set off a storm of speculation. A post without Chalk, a gratitude list that didn't mention her fiancé, and, perhaps most shocking of all, her engagement ring was nowhere in sight. Fans didn't even need a magnifying glass. Bachelor Nation jumped into detective mode instantly. But before we dive into the clues, let's rewind a little, because Joan and Chalk's romance has never been what anyone would call traditional. They didn't move in together after the show. They didn't rush into wedding planning. Instead, they chose something else. Something that confused people at first, but made perfect sense for them. They built a relationship rooted in visits, messages, calls, and savoring time instead of rushing it. A Maryland woman and a Kansas man, choosing love without merging houses, routines, or zip codes. Some called it unusual, others called it refreshing. Joan and Chalk simply called it theirs. They saw each other once a month, sometimes less. They kept their homes, kept their independence, kept their freedom. And somehow it worked. Perhaps love, especially later in life, doesn't need to look like anyone else's version of it. Maybe it just needs two people willing to show up, even from different states. But this past Thanksgiving changed everything. In the holiday video Joan posted, she shared warmth, gratitude, reflections, but not one mention of Chalk. Fans noticed instantly, and if that wasn't enough, the promotional video she posted shortly afterward poured gasoline on the already simmering rumors. Joan had partnered with a jeweler, one she emotionally described as feeling like home. She talked about pieces that were meaningful, gifts chosen with love. But her left hand, the place where that custom $80,000 ring once sparkled, completely bare. The comment section turned into a full investigation. Are you still getting married? Where is your engagement ring? Why isn't he in your post? Is this your way of telling us something? Questions kept rolling in, and people weren't just curious, they were worried. Fans had rooted for this couple from the very beginning. They wanted this love story to last. They wanted proof that connection can happen at any age, that romance isn't just for 20-somethings, that joy can come in chapters you never expected. But fans also know one unbreakable rule of this franchise. If an engagement ends, the ring goes back. So when Joan appeared without it, well, the internet practically stopped breathing. Still, here's where things get interesting. While half of Bachelor Nation was bracing for bad news, others rushed into the comments waving digital receipts. One fan insisted that both families had recently gone on a Disney World trip together. Yes, both families. They even mentioned spotting Chalk pushing a double stroller full of little ones. A man pushing babies at Disney hardly screams, "I'm single." And sure enough, Joan had posted photos from that exact family trip not long before. She looked happy, relaxed, present. Everything seemed fine. Then came another reminder. Both Joan and Chalk are scheduled to appear on the 2026 cruise event, together. So suddenly the breakup rumors became a little less clear. Was the engagement over? Were they taking a pause? Or were fans simply misreading a moment? Maybe the missing ring wasn't a breakup symbol at all. Maybe she had taken it off for the jewelry partnership. Maybe she was protecting the actual engagement ring from damage while filming. Maybe she simply didn't feel like wearing it that day. People don't wear every piece of jewelry they own every moment of every day, but when you're in the spotlight, every move becomes a message. And let's be honest, Joan has always had a gentle, thoughtful way of addressing rumors. She doesn't hide from questions. She doesn't dodge speculation. She usually just speaks up when the moment feels right. So maybe she's choosing silence right now because there's nothing dramatic to report. Maybe she and Chalk are navigating something personal, or maybe they're perfectly fine and simply laughing about all the assumptions. Or maybe the love story is shifting into a new chapter, and she just hasn't shared it yet. Because love, especially love found later in life, doesn't always follow the script people expect. It can be messy, it can be slow, it can be unconventional and confusing and absolutely beautiful at the same time. If Joan and Chalk are still together, then what we're seeing is just another moment in their unique rhythm. And honestly, that might be more romantic than anything that happened on television. But if their engagement really has ended, then the tenderness with which Joan has always spoken about her journey suggests she'll handle it with grace and likely explain it in her own time, in her own way. Until then, fans will continue watching closely. They want to know the truth, but they also care about these two people more than they realize. They want the fairy tale they fell in love with to stay intact. And more importantly, they want both Joan and Chalk to be happy, even if their happiness eventually lead them down separate paths. For now, all we can do is wait. Maybe the next chapter will be an announcement. Maybe it will be a reunion photo. Maybe it will be a wedding invitation. Or maybe it will be something entirely different. But whatever happens, one thing is certain. This love story, whether it continues or transforms, has already touched more hearts than either of them could have ever predicted. And until Joan speaks up, the world is holding its breath, hoping for a little more magic. If you'd like updates the moment more clues appear, stick around because this story is far from over. The next twist could arrive any moment, and you won't want to miss where this journey leads next. Thanks for watching Golden Bachelor. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next big story.